Unlike ChatGPT, which is panic porn for terminally online nerds, the policy on TikTok is a very serious topic. So serious indeed that even the local newspapers here in Vidin, Bulgaria discuss about it. If the topic is discussed in the normie newspapers for old people, printed physical newspapers, then it's probably a serious issue. Let's explore. Hello everyone and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Alright, so a quick video in here because this topic with regards to I guess I could call it the empire's policy on the mainstream spyware of the Chinese Communist Party, otherwise known as TikTok. The discussion on what policy is best for it has gone full mainstream, and that's a good thing on one hand, and as always there is a trade-off associated to it, so it's a terrible thing on the other end. Now, as usual when it comes to controversial issues, the debate is being more or less intentionally diverted towards irrelevant points. So on the right it is diverted towards panic porn. Now there's going to be a new Patriot Act and whatnot, and the reason for that is to make you sound crazy in public. And on the left it is framed in terms of, on the left and also among libertarians, it's on the platform of, but what about free markets and shit? Now I'm sorry, are Western companies allowed to operate freely and unimpeded and without restrictions, or with similar restrictions as in the West? Are they allowed to do the same in China? No? Then I don't want to hear anything further about the so-called freedom of TikTok. It just is what it is. If we can't play by the same rules, then we can't have a free market. And by the same rules means I get to operate on your market just like you get to operate in mine. And as long as Western companies are not permitted to operate on the Chinese market, then why should necessarily TikTok be permitted to operate here? And notice that I did make the distinction, TikTok. I didn't say Chinese companies writ large, although maybe I should frame it in that way. But the thing is that TikTok is particularly different, right? So there isn't much hula-baloo about, let's say, Baidu or other Chinese companies in the tech field. But there is a lot of hula-baloo about TikTok. And the reason for that is because, as I was mentioning in the previous video, when I discussed software, when I'm recording this, that video hasn't been published yet, so I have no idea how much of a controversy I triggered with that one. But as I was saying in that video, when I said that not taking down Tumblr in 2012 has consequences in 2023, well, it's pretty much the same thing with TikTok. As I was alluding to in various other conversations throughout the previous 3 or 4 years, there's a significant difference between what is offered to clients, I guess, users in the West, and what is offered to users within the PRC. So whilst within the PRC, the corporation, allegedly private corporation that operates TikTok, offers teenagers useful tips and tricks on how to build stuff, how to fix stuff around the house, how to find a good mate, and things of that nature. Whereas to teenagers in the West, the exact same service offers essentially destructive advice, toxic ideologies, toxic ideas that gradually lead to the destruction of the individuals that follow them. So from that perspective, if that is the case, and it is, then surely there comes a responsibility to to our children, essentially, and the responsibility of our societies to, well, yeah, to regulate that in some way, shape, or form, whether by state or by private means or a combination of the two. That's a very legitimate debate, and that's what I despise about the way the TikTok thing is framed, because it is either an excessive focus on TikTok's corporate freedoms, as if anyone gives a damn about that. Come on, let's get real. Or it is an excessive focus on various minutiae aspects that do not necessarily affect the final policy. So what I'm going to say is try to be moderate. I mean, that's really the purpose of this video. Try to be a little bit more moderate. Yes, there should be a concern on whether the state, the governments of the West, starting with the American government, but also the Европейский Союз, and also the Romanian government, or the French government, or the Bulgarian government. Probably the next Bulgarian government will also have a policy on TikTok. I mean, more and more Western governments are considering taking some sort of action on this particular institutionalized spyware that TikTok indeed is. So while there should be a concern, and the civil society should pay significant attention on what the authorities are doing under the excuse of ridding us of TikTok, at the same time there should not be, I don't know how to say it, we should not descend into paranoia. At the end of the day, the powers of governments are much more limited than they imagine, as we've seen over and over again throughout not just distant history, but also recent history. You know, politicians want to do a lot of things in order to placate their support, their electoral support, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can do it. So the good word from the sofa is look at it more moderately. Yes, there should be a policy on TikTok. Yes, the ability of TikTok to farm data and to manipulate our youth and so on and so forth should be curtailed if possible and where it is possible. But at the same time, we should not go into the other extreme and try to curtail the entirety of the activity on the internet just so we can be quote-unquote safe from TikTok, because we will never be entirely safe. I mean, that's the purpose of the internet, is to be fundamentally unsafe, and it more or less mirrors reality, right? I mean, if you either want safety or you want liberty, you can't have them both, and we should err on the side of freedom whenever we can. That's essentially what I'm saying. So yeah. One more thing, please rid me of these equivalencies. Oh, but you know, Twitter does the same, or Facebook does the same. No, I'm sorry, that just doesn't. Oh, but you know, they farm data too. Yes, they do, but you know, the Facebook user base is not teenagers, it's fully grown-ups who are able to consent. They can read the terms and service and choose not to. That's one aspect. Second aspect, there has yet to be confirmed any serious radicalization and self-destruction, and yes, even outward criminal acts from Facebook addicts. Facebook addicts sometimes start cringe cultural trends, which is bad enough, admittedly, but is nowhere near as bad as sterilizing children. I'm just saying. So these false equivalencies have to stop. Yes, Facebook is also an issue. Yes, big tech is also an issue. The Western big tech is also an issue. I agree. But let's not try to mix them all together. If the discussion is TikTok, let's have a conversation on the TikTok policy and avoid meaningless noise, because the meaningless noise at the end of the day doesn't help anyone. It definitely doesn't help us as internet users. It doesn't help us as citizens of relatively free countries. Maybe it helps the CCP because they can obfuscate the issue a little bit, but at the end of the day it only helps the security apparatus that wants more power for itself. So don't be a shill for the security apparatus. Thank you. So yeah, with all of that being said, I hope you enjoyed the little footage that I've also shown you around, because you don't want to see my ugly face for minutes and minutes on end. I hope you enjoyed. Let me tell you what. Tell me what you think, and let me know what you think. We need to have a more serious conversation, because, okay, in the United States maybe the decision has already been made, but in most of the rest of the world, the policy on TikTok will be under debate throughout the next period of 2023. So, maybe we can craft better arguments and get better policies for our country. So yeah, let me know what you think. And with that, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Send me to the killing fields. From within Bulgaria, over and out.